Alrighty, folks. I tweeted out right before, as the day was beginning, guys, that today would be a great day for the team in Queens to make a trade acquisition. Lo and behold, they did make a trade tonight, right before I'm about to record my latest podcast, Bleav in Queens, presented by the Bleav Network. That will be out at 6 a.m. Eastern and also 12 p.m. Eastern here on the YouTube channel. Then 6 a.m. is the audio. We will be breaking down the Subway Series, recapping that. I was in attendance yesterday. You guys saw me acting like an absolute buffoon. But we got to break down some trade news, guys. And I got to say, a trade that I really, really like from the Mets. And I will say, guys, before I have any of you guys having the audacity to come in here in the live show right now, watching on replay or live in the live chat, saying, oh, this is a horrendous move for the New York Mets. What? This is so well Ponzian of them. No, it wasn't, guys. Just shut your mouth for 1 second. Stop being a schmuck. Let me tell you what this trade is about, guys. This is what we call depth, right? This is how I think a lot of people would word it, the calm before the storm. The trade deadline is August 2nd, folks. Does that mean that every single trade the Mets have to do be groundbreaking? No. You have to build up. What is this trade for the New York Mets? They acquire depth outfielder and Tyler Naquin, who I'm very excited to be discussing here shortly, and veteran southpaw reliever that will be in AAA, that being in PHILLIP deals. And the Mets give up a couple low-level prospects in return, that being in Jose Acuna and Hector Rodriguez. So I will be deep diving everything that you guys need to know about this trade, why I think this move is solid for the Mets overall, and what we can expect going forward with the Mets after acquiring Tyler Naquin, the former teammate of Francisco Lindor during their time in Cleveland, among others. Naquin, who had a really strong year last year. The biggest gripe with Naquin right away has been his injury-riddled past. If Naquin's healthy, he's a pretty solid player. And right away, folks, before we deep dive the numbers or anything like this, what is Tyler Naquin to the New York Mets? He is Travis Jankowski's replacement. In case you guys don't know, as much as I love Jankowski, the Stony Brook Hall of Famer that he is not much more than really just a fourth outfielder with his glove and with his great speed on the base pass that we saw in full effect yesterday in the Mets' walk-off win in the Subway Series against those Yanks. However, what does he lack? He lacks that bat-to-ball skills on a consistent level. And now the Mets acquire a fourth outfielder in Tyler Naquin, who might not be as known for his glove, but he surely is known for the bat. This guy has an over 800 OPS versus righties, will not be utilized against lefties. It's like a Vogelback situation. He's not a lefty killer, but that's okay. The Mets did not acquire Tyler Naquin to be anything more than the best bench bat they currently have. He's already better this season than Dominic Smith. He's already better this season than J.D. Davis. And he sure as all hell is better right now offensively. No slight against Jankowski. I love the guy, but he is better than Travis Jankowski. So right now, Dom Smith, J.D. Davis, Travis Jankowski, these are all three players, folks, that look like they're going to be on new clubs by August 2nd. For Dom, for J.D., that'll be via trade. And for Jankowski, that's if he doesn't clear waivers. Because, guys, he doesn't have any more minor league options. And it sucks. I love Janky. I love him on the Mets. However, when you really don't have much of a bat with him, you might as well, if you're going to have a fourth outfielder, have a guy that actually has strong bat-to-ball skills. He has some pop in his bat, that being in Naquin. 7 bombs of the year. Hits really well against righties, again, that you're going to see far more often than lefties. I like this pickup for the Mets. And then when you get also in PHILLIP DIEHL, that would be breaking down the numbers a little bit further in the show. He's over 9-year array in the major leagues this year. Nothing to be concerned about. He's just AAA depth. The Mets do not have by any stretch a plethora of bullpen depth in the minor leagues, especially in AAA. Who lefties? You have Alex Claudio. I can't really think of any other guys off the top of my head that have major league experience. You now would add in PHILLIP DIEHL, and the Mets, again, give up 2 low-level prospects. Isn't going to hurt them. Naquin is a free agent at the end of the season, guys. This is strictly a rental pickup for literally nothing. The Mets add a bona fide MLB caliber bat as their fourth outfielder. And just to show you guys how anemic the Mets have been this year when evaluating their bench, Naquin already comes into this Mets lineup as the best bench bat they have. And this is without the big blockbuster moves that feel inevitable. Whether that's a Wilson Contreras, a Trey Mancini, a JD Martinez, all players that the Mets are currently in the market with. So for anyone, again, that's chiming the show right now, if you think that this is anything more than just a depth move, 1, you're not paying attention, you're being closed-minded, and 2, if you're not listening to me, then just leave the show. I mean, it does not take a rocket scientist to figure out what type of move this is for the New York Mets. Now, I don't expect Naquin to be flipped elsewhere. Dom Smith, he's gone. Sayonara, he's out of here. I know the Chicago Cubs absolutely love Dom. I know Chaim Bloom and the Red Sox really like Dom as well. I think he's going to one of those two teams in a trade over the next, I don't know, couple days, maybe sooner. I saw from reports that we have to keep eyes on the Mets and the Cubs in negotiations over the next 36 hours. So I'll be discussing that in my podcast. I'll be coming out tomorrow as well, folks. And one more thing, Anthony Recker, who's now my new co-host, along with Joe Serralo for Bleav in Queens. We will not have Anthony for our next pod. He was spending a long day. Of course, if you guys don't know Anthony, the former MLBer for the New York Mets for a couple years, he was an analyst for MLB Network today for a pretty long time. So he's going to sit this one out perfectly fine. We're going to have him back after the Marlins series. So just want to give that update for you guys regarding the podcast in case you're wondering what the format is going to be. But I want to know everyone's initial reactions. I got to say, I appreciate we have 700 live viewers in here. I know we're going to get a lot more on replay for, again, a Tyler Naquin, who's nothing more than a depth bat for the Mets, and you land a AAA arm. That's what you're getting from the Mets. Let me know your thoughts in the comments in the live chat right now, folks. How do you feel about this move? Again, I cannot emphasize this enough, guys. This is nothing more than a depth move for the Mets, okay? You add a strong bat, a bat that's far greater than what you currently have on the bench, a guy that fourth outfielder-wise can actually come up and give you a nice pinch hit when needed. That's what you're getting with Tyler Naquin, guys. But let's just get into his numbers here because Naquin, like I said, I like this move. I really, really like this move. I don't think that this is anything to be harped on. This is nothing negative. This is the calm before the storm. Billy Big Bucks has some big negotiations going on as we speak. I'm seeing Shohei Ohtani rumors out there. I'm seeing a lot going on in the Mets realm. And while I do not expect Ohtani to be dealt by the deadline, I do know he's available. And yes, Billy Big Bucks would love him back managing him like he did during his time with the Angels when he scouted him really well. And then, of course, the Chicago Cubs, Boston Red Sox. Pardon me, you also have the Baltimore Orioles, Detroit Tigers when looking at relievers because they're doing a full-blown fire sale. There's a lot of teams that are appealing for the Mets, and they're dipping their toes in the water of all these different clubs. But for Naquin, the 31-year-old outfielder, let's see here, in 55 games this year for the Cincinnati Reds, let's see, he is currently, he came in the league in 2012, 1 year, $4 million dealer free agent after this year, as I mentioned, folks. He's an outfielder, is a lefty bat, so he does replace Jankowski with the left-handedness. He does throw right, 6'2", just under 200 pounds, a 245 average, a 305 on base, a 429 slug. Don't mind the slugging there. Something that the Mets have lacked with their bench bats for sure. I wonder what Dom's slug is right now in there. I got to be honest. Same thing with Jankowski, right? 6 home runs, 28 runs scored, 31 RBIs, 3 stolen bags. He's at a 98 WRC plus, so he's 2% lower than the average player in baseball, which again, for a fourth outfielder, that's your bench bat. I'm not complaining one bit. And the biggest thing about Tyler Naquin, folks, is that while his numbers aren't pretty, he is known as a guy that as long as you match him up, especially in pinch-hitting situations, down the stretch in a game per se, and you're going to bring him in either for the glove or the bat, he does certainly know how to hit right-hand pitching, which, again, you're going to see far more often at a far higher clip than what you're going to see against lefties. The Mets will get that lefty specialist. Willson Contreras has over 1,000 OPS against lefties. JD Martinez has over 1,000 OPS against lefties. Trey Mancini, even though that his numbers overall against lefties aren't good, against left-handed starters, they aren't as bad, I believe, but Trey Mancini isn't to the same wavelength against lefties that we have seen with JD Martinez and Willson Contreras. So take that as you will. I think if the Mets are going to land a bat, I know that they really want a lefty killer, and Trey Mancini is not the first guy on the list. CJ Cron has over 1,000 OPS, but CJ Cron's numbers, his splits home and away are just so putrid that I doubt he's even going to be traded. I'll be a little surprised by that if he goes anywhere. But yeah, when looking at the numbers further for Tyler Naquin, folks, if you look at him on the year, 51 games, 158 at-bats versus right-handed pitching, a 266 average, a 335 on base percentage, 474 slugging at 811 OPS for the veteran in Naquin. Against left-handed starters as well, he actually hasn't faced any left-handed starters this year. He's only faced in 13 games and only 6 games he starts, so that number doesn't mean anything against left-handed starters. Against right-handed starters, though, which you've seen plenty, right around a 280 average is an Naquin with a 335 on base, a 500 slug for an 835 OPS. So especially in those rare occasions that the Mets would bring in Naquin in the game, potentially, while starter's still in there, maybe as a late inning pinch hit, I would imagine when a starter is really legging things out through the 6th or 7th inning, Naquin could come up big, especially if he's facing a pitcher that's already seen guys through the order multiple times. He comes in against Naquin. I like those chances. So overall, I like this pickup for the Mets. He has around a 500 OPS against lefties. Again, Naquin, not a lefty killer by any stretch. Left on left, he can't hit the same way that Daniel Vogelbach simply can't hit left on left. But the reason why we aren't griping here, folks, is that the Mets are going to make sure that they combat this by landing a bigger, more prominent bat by far than what they've done thus far as your everyday player at the DH or catching position. Whether that's a Contreras, a JD Martinez, I should say. JD Davis, how the hell are you? Now get out of here. Get out of Queens. Or the likes of, even Trey Mancini. I mean, these are all far superior options than what the Mets currently have on this roster, not just bench, but even some in the lineup. The DH, the catching position, they have been automatic outs every single day. And yes, I know this is boring, James. That's what happens when you make a depth acquisition. That's why you don't see me screaming my absolute lungs out like I did at Citi Field when the Mets walked it off. That's why my voice sounds raspy. Yes, this is boring. This is nothing crazy. This is nothing overly exciting. What this is it gives the Mets security for not just depth with a bat off the bench right now. It gives them more depth in AAA with left-hand relievers. You can never go wrong. And more than anything, it gives the Mets that depth, that flexibility to make sure that they are comfortable parting ways with Dom Smith, JD Davis, and surely Travis Jankowski, as this is quite literally Jankowski's replacement. I don't see how it's not for Naquin, who, again, is a primary outfielder. Again, you can slime at the DH if you really want to, but this is a guy that I don't expect to get more playing time than other guys. He plays in right at first, DH for 11 games this year. This is a guy that's your fourth outfielder. He'll be utilized when needed. Just has some nice pop in his bat. Naquin isn't far removed from having some solid years. Last year, Naquin had a really, really good year for Cincinnati out of nowhere and more of an increased role. When he was healthy, because Naquin has only played 100 games in his career twice, and one of those seasons was last year. 127 games in his 30-year age season for Cincinnati last season. 19 home runs, 70 RBIs, a 270 average, 333 on base, and a 477 slug. So Naquin, again, for what you're getting for him, giving up absolutely nothing, there is no way that I can look at this as a negative deal for the Mets. It's a pure depth move. As everyone's watching, that's perfectly fine. Again, you have to start somewhere. I really like Vogelbach. Again, I want to know what your thoughts are on Vogelbach so far, guys. I know it's early, but for a guy at, 6 foot, roughly 300 pounds, this guy is already a walks machine, has always been a good on base, great eye. He's 4 for 7. He's been on base 4 out of 7 times so far as a New York Met. Had a base knock and a walk yesterday. We take that to the bank. It was so fun seeing Vogelbach in the unit, the absolute tank, the Bubba that I like to call him himself in yesterday's game. There's a Martino tweet. Guys, what is the Martino tweet? Let me know in the chat, because that schmuck does have me blocked. But while you guys are letting me know the Andy Martino tweet in the chat right now, everybody, I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. As we're breaking down this quick trade regarding the New York Mets, folks, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Greatly appreciated. Help us get a 300+ likes by the end of the live show to my roughly 900 viewers. We can do that. Smash that like and subscribe button. Help us get a 17K subs for the next short-term goal here at WardyNYM. Thank you guys all so much in advance. Let's see. Okay, Naquin right-handed pitching better than left-handed pitching. He'll continue to play probably 5 days a week. This is just about increasing options. Mets working on other moves. I know the Mets are working on other moves, Ken Rosenthal. Trust me. Are the Mets going to come out with another move tonight, though? I don't know. All I truly ask is that if it's good, why did Martino block me? The reason why he's blocked literally everyone. God forbid he gets rightful criticism for being the biggest schmuck of a reporter in baseball. That man is as soft as literally the freaking soft serve ice cream you get on an everyday here in the summer. That is Andy Martino in a nutshell. He has sources, but it's so hard to take that man with credibility when he acts like an absolute clown show every single day of the week. When I see him on SNY, I see him rubbing off the makeup that he put on after putting on his clown outfit. I mean, that's just normal with someone like him. I don't know what else to say. Martino's tweet, no deals expected tonight. That's fine. I'm honestly fine with that. I don't want to do more than one trade conversation, and I have to record my podcast. I'm not complaining there. The Mets do something tomorrow, though, sign me the hell up. That's what I say. I think that there's a damn good chance the Mets will be having another move in the next day. I would actually be fairly surprised if the Mets do not have another move up their sleeve tomorrow. It'll be indicative on the market. I completely get that. But it feels like the Mets have more brewing. It doesn't feel like we know, especially after Drew Smith, who I'll be discussing in the podcast, so I won't expand too much. Drew flows out on the IL right now. The Mets are working for the bullpen. Question is, are they going to try to address the bullpen before in a package deal, or are they going to wait to address it for a package deal first? With the Orioles and say Mancini and a Lopez or a Tate or a Perez, or with the, of course, the Cubs that they absolutely love right now. They're in deep discussions with Contreras, with David Robertson, who we all would love David Robertson. Or are you going to go the separate route and just focus on relievers first, which could maybe throw in a Mantiply, a Bard, who's one of my favorite relievers out there, who's having a phenomenal year in cores with the Rockies. Or, of course, you have Detroit and the likes of Fulmer, former New York Met, was trading the Yoenis Cespedes deal years ago. You also have my favorite guy out there, favorite southpaw, Andrew Chafin, that the Mets should have acquired in the offseason in retrospect, and then Gregory Soto. So the Mets got options. They're on the phones with relievers, absolutely. No, we don't want Robertson. Yes, we do, Benjamin. My goodness gracious. With all due respect, Robertson is very much would be an upgrade for the Mets pen right now. And hey, if the Mets acquire him and he becomes an absolute bum, then hey, you told me so. But until proven otherwise, I'm not going with that mindset whatsoever. You look at all the advanced numbers with Robertson too. He's a stud. He knows how to get lefties out just as well as he knows how to get righties out. Doesn't matter how pretty it necessarily looks as long as he's getting the job done, has control. I mean, yes, he's around. The only thing that I will gripe about with Robertson, if I'm being completely blunt right now, folks, is his walks per 9. It's over 4. I want that lower. I think that can be combated the same way that the Mets were able to combat it with a fellow former New York Yankee, 38-year-old reliever, right-hander, and Adam Ottavino. If the Mets could change Adam the way that they did this year, I feel confident that they could settle Robertson down a little bit with the walk rate and get him more with those punchies. So that's something I'm looking at personally. Never stays healthy. As long as he's healthy this year, that's all that matters. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Who cares? Like, seriously, he's a free agent at the end of the year. We're not looking long-term with David Robertson. We're looking at pursuing a World Series championship this year. That type of bullpen piece surely helps you get there. Let me get to a couple donations, folks, and then we'll advance further here in the show. Thank you guys so much for all the likes and the subscriptions. Greatly appreciate that. To my roughly 1,000 viewers, you guys are the absolute best, everybody. I'll be live here for, I would say, another 10 to 15 minutes, 10, 20 minutes tops, and I'm going to get out of here. Got to record my podcast, and I will have more in-depth coverage about this trade tomorrow, wherever you get your podcast for Bleav in Queens, episode 9 with Joe Serralo. Anthony Recker, he will be in our podcast again, not for this pod, but after the Marlins series. So stay tuned for that. But Bill Roberts with the $20 donut. Thank you so much, Bill. This move is like a Vogelback that can also play outfield. Do we really need 2 lefty pinch hitters, or could Vogelback be at risk of being traded? That's a fair question, Bill. Here's my answer to this. Vogelback is someone that is going to get a little bit more playing time than you might expect at DH, with the assumption that if the Mets land Wilson Contreras, folks, there is very much a possibility that one of Tomasino or James McCann is traded. So if that were to happen, then Contreras is in your rotation as your 1A in that catching spot, which means that there's still more of an opening at DH. And if the Mets want to focus on a lefty killer especially, they may not get a bat to a higher degree than Contreras, because they'll have Contreras maybe DH, but also catcher. You can still have Vogelback start some days, especially against righties, in which he rakes. You can get a guy that absolutely rakes against lefties. So it'll be really indicative on what happens with Contreras, in my opinion. If the Mets land him, which I know they absolutely love, his price is high, but they're really focused on him, then I think there's a strong possibility Vogelback will be starting at minimum 1 of 3 games in a series, right? Naquin, Vogelback can't play anything but DH, so I wouldn't compare the two. They're 2 lefty bats, yes, but Naquin is strictly nothing more than a 4th outfielder for the Mets. It'll be interesting to see how much playing time he gets. But once all the Mets moves are finalized and done, we will see what the Mets are prioritizing right now. And I assure you that Naquin will not be gaining nearly as much playing time as what he would on other teams, because he goes from being basically a starter every day to coming in the Mets and being a 4th outfielder and coming up with a big pinch hit bat at times when the Mets will need it. Nothing drastic, just far greater depth than what the Mets currently have, and I will take that to the bank every day of the week. Bill, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Tracking the $5 donation. Marte and Max, who I think has a bigger impact during the offseason. I think that they've both been fairly equal. I got to be honest with you. It's hard to not say Max just because of how much of a guaranteed win he is. However, Marte has been electric. He's been a 300 average hitter, over 800 OPS. The walk-off yesterday, elite glove, elite speed on the bags. You can make a rightful argument for either one. So in my opinion, I think it's 1A, 1B. It's a coin flip. If you want to give the edge to Marte, I would just give him that because he plays every day, right? That's one thing that Max, out of his control, even though I'm sure he would want to if he could, simply can't do. Shraken, thank you for the donation, brother. I appreciate that. Great member on the channel. Hype in the chat, guys. My over 900 viewers. I appreciate that, guys. Hype in the chat to you all. If you guys want to know where I got this shirt, because I'm seeing a lot. First of all, I don't have the hat on. I got to run in my car. Maybe I'll get it for the podcast. We'll see. But I was wearing my hat the game yesterday. It's in my car still. This shirt, all my other black shirts are dirty right now. This Mets shirt, I absolutely love. It was sent to me from Dave Kaplitz. You guys probably know Dave. He's a phenomenal supporter of mine. Absolutely appreciate that, man. Also realized I have my graphic a little messed up. I meant to put a different thing there. Oh, you know what? Now I see what the issue with the graphic is. It's from last night. And I also realized the quality of the show might not be great. So let me check that quick too. It's probably not on camera resolution. Oh my goodness gracious. Camera resolution was probably low this entire time. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. This live show's camera quality is probably horrendous the entire time. I apologize if that's the case. Okay, so oddly enough, it's not letting me change it to like 1080p. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. John, thank you so much for the $2 donation. I appreciate that. Do Vogie and this outfield replace Dom and JD? To an extent, but the Mets aren't done, so not fully. No, this replaces Jankowski, that being in Naquin. That's what that does. Let's see, Matthew Bumgarner. I want Bumgarner. If you want a ring, go get him. Matthew, with all due respect, Madison Bumgarner will never play a game for the New York Mets. That man is as out west as they come. He wants nothing to do with the big city, and the Mets want nothing to do with an aging southpaw who would do nothing more than be a depth guy in the bullpen. He wouldn't even be a starter in this rotation. So really appreciate that donation, Matthew. Greatly appreciate it. But I promise you, Madison Bumgarner will never be a New York Met. I'm sorry to break the news to you. Thank you for that donation, though. Really, really do appreciate it. Let's see here. Hold on, guys. Trying to get caught up in the chat. Jeremy, thank you so much for the donation. Can we talk about Beatty? How's he not on AAA yet? He may move up before the end of the year. Beatty has had a little bit ups and downs this year. He just hit a big bomb today, too. Francisco Alvarez hit a walk-off today, too. I could see Beatty getting a taste of AAA before the end of the year. I don't think it'll be too much longer. So yeah, that's kind of my quick take on him. Jeremy, thank you for the donation. I greatly appreciate it. Tomasino is my favorite for Scherzer and DeGrom. I agree. If the Mets can trade McCann and eat a decent bit of his contract, I'm perfectly fine with that. Thank you so much for the donation, Luis. I appreciate that. In regards to like a Contreras deal, for instance. Also, guys, to my over 900 viewers, can you guys all let me know in the chat right now, how is the quality of this show right now? Like, are the visuals okay? Because apparently I started off the show with probably horrendous camera quality. I do apologize for that one. That was not my intent. It's perfectly fine. Was the quality fine from the beginning or was it bad, guys? Be honest. I just want to know. And guys, we have over 900 viewers. We're trying to get a 400 plus likes by the end of the live show. So continue smashing on like and subscribe on. Greatly appreciate everybody. Help us get a 17K subs as well, guys. Thank you guys so much in advance. As we're breaking down the latest news, that yes, the New York Mets have made acquisitions tonight. Maybe not the breaking news that you were hoping for, but definitely some solid news, that being in acquiring the likes of Tyler Naquin, a nice depth bat as a fourth outfielder for them to take over for Travis Jankowski, assumably, and also looking at the likes of a southpaw, that being in PHILLIP DIEHL. That will actually break down his numbers now. Why don't we do that? DIEHL, again, I don't expect him to get much playing time. He has an 11.12 ERA at the MLB level this year, roughly 9 expected ERA. In AAA, however, at a 4.24 ERA, solid. And in 2021, at a 2.47 ERA in 54 innings for the AAA team for Cincinnati. He started out his career in the Yankees organization back in 2016. Was then with the Colorado Rockies from 2019 to 2020. So again, he's moved around a little bit in his young career, but I'm not concerned. Let me put it that way. Just a guy that's AAA depth for you. No, nothing more, nothing less. And that's really about it. Mama Worm, how are you? Thank you so much for chiming in. Okay, the quality wasn't bad. I don't know why. It seemed like the quality was going to be terrible, but it's not. Cool. 250 likes. Thank you guys so much for that. $150 away from 400. Keep smashing those. But guys, let's put up a poll because we have over 900 viewers. I'm going to get out of here in the next 10 minutes. So before I do, I want to get a poll up here in the chat and see how you guys are feeling. So let's do exactly that, everybody. want to get a thing up in the chat right now to see who you guys think I should say, actually won this one. Where did I get the shirt? Again, my buddy Dave, who's a phenomenal friend of mine, phenomenal subscriber on the channel. He's probably watching right now. Shout out to Dave. Dave got this custom and sent to me last year, and it's awesome. And I wear this when I go to Mets games because you guys notice me a lot. So this is the front of the shirt, right? It honestly looks like it's for like as if I was for a team for something. I like it. But then on the back, so it's got WardyNYM on the back with my favorite number 31 of them. That's for Michael Conforto. Shout out to Michael, wherever he may go. He feels like he might be a Texas Ranger next year. If you know, you know. But that's about it, though. But yeah, shout out to Dave once more for the shirt last year. I wear this thing at Mets games all the time because it's easier to spot me, I feel like. David, thank you so much for the $5 donation, David. What's the story with Soto? Doesn't Soto want the Mets and shouldn't the Mets out? So, according to what I've heard, the Mets actually did offer a really nice package for Soto, but Mike Rizzo just ain't going to do it, guys. Yeah, if Juan Soto's going to land with the New York Mets, it'll be if he hits the free agent market after being dealt somewhere. And it looks like that there's actually a stronger chance than ever that Juan Soto will be traded somewhere to either, I would imagine, the Padres, the Dodgers, or the Cardinals on the outside looking in right now. So, Mets love Soto. However, they can only do so much. Soto might want to come to the Mets, but it doesn't mean that Mike Rizzo wants him to come to the Mets. So what can Mike Rizzo do? He can go out of his way to really not field enough calls with the Mets, even if they have the best offer on the table, even if they potentially eat a contract. I mean, that's just the nature of the game, unfortunately. Mike Rizzo is being an absolute pain in the ass, just as you would expect a petty GM who would be when thinking about parting ways with his generational talent to his rival team in the division. I don't blame him for not wanting to deal with the Mets. It just sucks. Just sucks. That's the biggest thing. David, thank you so much for the membership. I appreciate you, my friend. Joe, thank you so much for the $2 donation. It's like 2015 assessments like deal. Oh, I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. There's more Martino? If there's more Martino news, let me know, guys. Mets are trading Travis Jankowski. Oh, they are. Are they? Hold on. Okay, I did not see a report that the Mets are trading Jankowski. I don't know where you guys saw that. The new Wilpons, LOL. Caleb, stop with the nonsense. This is a depth move. Get your head out of your ass. No, I did not see anything regarding Jankowski being dealt. I would say if Jankowski's going to be sent on waivers. I don't even think he's going to be traded. Just because, I mean, maybe they could trade Jankowski if they really want to. But I at this juncture, I would assume that Jankowski gets cut, is put on waivers. Unfortunately, has to go through waivers, which means any team can pick him up. And the best case scenario for the Mets, no team picks him up, and then he can be sent down. Look on Andy. Guys, I need you guys to someone on Twitter just please tweet at me the Andy Martino tweet. He has me blocked. So can someone just please screenshot it? I beg of you. That's all I ask. Please. Okay, so it looks like Naquin will be getting playing time, especially for days that either Canna or Marte are out. So, yeah, that makes sense. Naquin will be, again, that fourth outfielder, as expected. What's the tweet, guys? They aren't getting Bell, Mancini, or Martinez, or even Contreras. Jason, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I think he'll be a happy camper should the Mets land one of them, because you should not look at this deal and connect them with that in a negative fashion by a stretch. Mets very much want one of those three, offensively at least. Yeah, unless someone has something that they can screenshot and send me regarding Mancino. Okay. So apparently he said that's the likely move. Yes, that the Mets trade Jankowski, if that's what people are saying. Oh, okay. So someone asked him on Twitter and the Mets will trade. I mean, look, if the Mets can trade Jankowski and get any value out of him, then by all means do it. I love Jankowski. I absolutely do. But hey, I love the Mets doing their best to try to win this year more than anything else. Cliff Note version because I'm late to the party. Brennan, thank you so much for the donation. Cliff Note version, the reliever, Southpaw, he's for AAA, nothing more. Tyler Quinn is your fourth outfielder, 800 OPS against righties. He's going to fill in for Canna and Marte for days that they aren't starting outfield-wise, which again, for Canna, he's not starting, more than 2 or 3 games in a series usually, unless the matchup is phenomenal, and even then, Buck doesn't want to do it. Wants to keep the guys healthy. He fills in for Travis Jankowski as the fourth outfielder, is what Tyler Naquin is. Has some pop in his bat. Definitely the best batter rate available off the Mets bench. Better than J.D. Davis, better than Dom Smith, and better than Travis Jankowski. So he is Travis Jankowski's replacement, and there really isn't much more to look at other than that. And yes, Dave, shout out to you, my man. I do know that he played with Cleveland, with Francisco Lindor. No deals expected tonight, but the Mets are working on the phone for relievers and will trade for at least 1 or 2 before long. 10:45. Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much for that, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah, I expect the Mets to land a reliever. I'm just curious if they're going to land a reliever before doing a bigger trade, or if they're just going to land a reliever by himself and maybe still do a blockbuster deal with the reliever tagged, or just do a blockbuster deal for an offensive weapon. That's a question that we will find out, I'd imagine, in the next 24 to 48 hours. What percentage would I give the Mets landing Contreras this week? I think that the Mets have a slightly below 50% chance just because of value. That's really what I would say. Mets DFA RJ Alvarez. I almost threw up for a second. I thought it was Francisco. Oh yes, because the Mets are surely going to DFA a $341 million man. How do you even think about potentially throwing up for a second? What is this? What are you doing, Carson? Okay, let's see here for any more stuff we got. Yoshima, thank you for the donation. The stove is heating up. I'm getting excited. So am I. Yeah, well, I'm going to have a lot of trade talk. I'm going to have to do my podcast tonight, folks. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys for the likes. Like I said, we're trying to get a 400 by the end of the live show. Continue smashing those buttons. Announcement coming tomorrow. Yeah, for sure. Henry regarding Smith. Naquin hit a homer today versus Marlins and now joins them in Miami this week. Oh, that's actually kind of dope. I like that, Henry. That's actually pretty nice. Oh, I see. Now I read it wrong. So shame on me. All right. Now, Francisco Alvarez. Still though, that's just as bad. We're cutting our top prospect. We're sayonara. We're done with him. Mets suck. Bakeem, I'm going to go on a limb and say you're either a Yanks or a Dodgers fan. So something that you have no right to talk shit in. If you're a Yanks fan, I'm sorry. What just happened? I'd be crying too. If you're a Dodgers fan, you split the series with us so far this year. I don't want to hear it. If you're a Braves fan, don't even get me started. So I absolutely thrive when fans come in here and talk shit about the Mets. I would talk shit too if I'm a little depressed little boy like yourself that can't handle 61-37 team right now. I'd be a little upset too. So I don't blame you. Vent. Get it out there. Let me see it. Appreciate that donation again, my man. Thank you. Not trading Jankowski, he thinks he will be cut. Oh, okay. I think he will be cut too. As sad as that is to say, I do think Travis Jankowski will be cut. Yeah, no, I love the approach by Epler too. You need depth. I think Epler definitely learned his lesson for sure. Kevin Dodders, thank you so much for coming in and being rent-free, my man. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for that. This is a stupid trade. It's not if you just pay attention to what I say, J-Ro. Pay attention. Trash pickups. It's called depth, my man. It's called depth. When the Mets have an unexpected injury down the stretch and they have nothing more than Joan Ashley Fargas to come up, you wish you had Tyler Naquin. So this is the whole point of these moves. Stop it. Stop it. You guys, you schmucks, with all due respect. Inform yourself. Pay attention to the show. It's not that hard. I'm trying here. I really am. You hate the Mets so much because I'm a Sox fan. I'm jealous of their success. You're a Sox fan, bro. How many... Boston, you have no right. With all due respect, Boston's won time and time again. Thank you for being a kind though. Finally getting winning season is good. I'm really surprised and happy for Mets fans. You shouldn't be surprised, Steve Cohen. I mean, you shouldn't be surprised by that. But Red Sox fans, you've won time and time again. You have the championships. I won't show sympathy. I wish the Red Sox were doing better this year. However, I kind of don't because I really want JD Martinez. So, it's trying to balance the two. Either way, I am very happy about what the Mets have done. I'm very happy about what they are going to do. And it looks like that we are in a great spot to potentially see another move tomorrow. So buckle up, guys. A lot is going to happen. I'm going to get out of here in a minute, though. We got roughly 1,000 viewers, but again, I got a podcast to record, so make sure you do not miss out on the pod tomorrow, guys. Again, I'll probably have Naquin on the thumbnail. More than likely, we'll discuss the series sweep with the Yanks. That's where I was yesterday. A phenomenal game. And we'll go over all the latest rumors. We'll go over Marlins series preview. We'll deep dive a little bit, but we will be focusing on trade news heavy because there's a solid chance that within hours after our recording is live tomorrow on the channel, wherever you get your podcast audio-wise, that a move already had happened regarding one of those players. So we'll definitely see. Thank you so much for the donation, Anthony. Anthony says, this is the WardyNYM and Kelly Johnson moves, invoking it. Yeah, I think that's fair. I definitely think that's fair to say. It's along that similar wavelength. However, again, what did the Mets also do with those moves? They landed Yoenis Cespedes. So what is that equivalent going to be this year? That's a big question, and I can't wait to see and find out who exactly it is going to. This is, once more, the calm before the storm, folks. Dom Smith trade to Oakland? Not yet. I do think he's going to be traded. We don't have any trade confirmation regarding Dom, though. And I don't think he's going to Oakland. I don't think the Mets need anything from Oakland, unless it's Frankie Montas. But the Mets don't need starting depth. I wouldn't complain with Montas, but the Mets can definitely use a big bat and bullpen more than they can use a starter at this juncture. Let me check the poll before we get out of here, folks. And let's see here. We're getting close. We're 70 likes away from 400. Continue smashing that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys all so much in advance. We greatly appreciate that. Let's check the poll real quick to see how you guys are feeling. Out of 500 votes so far, everybody, 60% you believe that the Mets won the trade. 18% believe that the Reds won the trade. Again, the Reds get prospects for giving up a rental. So I would say it's both personally. Biasly, I'm going to say the Mets, but I think both teams won this deal. Because, again, the Reds get prospect depth. It doesn't hurt when you're giving up guys that have no spot for your team going forward. Naquin was going to walk in the offseason. But, yeah, appreciate everyone chiming in the poll. We got over 500 votes. Keep voting in there. I want to hear your thoughts. Just for me, JD Davis will be trading the next day or two. We'll see. They need offense and real bullpen. Exactly. I wholeheartedly agree with you guys. All right, guys, I love you. I don't want to leave when we were doing great reviewership like this, but got to focus on more content. Stay tuned. New pod tomorrow, Bleav in Queens, episode 9, 6 a.m. Eastern. Audio-wise, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Listen in there on the YouTube channel. It will premiere. Look as a live stream, even though it's not actually live. 12 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. We'll have a post-game show later tomorrow night, more than likely, to recap the first game between the Mets and the Marlins. And if any deals happen throughout the day tomorrow, rest assured Wardy's going to be sitting in this chair ranting about it. Hopefully it's going to be a big one. So until then, have a great rest of your night, day, evening, folks, whenever you guys are watching this. This is Wardy signing out. Let's go Mets, baby. And as always, I'll talk to you guys again real soon. See you guys.